Abusiafo matena sibio aha Ghanatube model for snowy na ensem ekoso ewo ye manga ne mu pa megide se opese utie na ohun nia ekoso ewo Ghana mu Abusiafo makwakoboabo ensem bi ano ye nkotie ensem no ye ba na matoaso eduamo.
So this man here is an Australian. So he comes to acquire a mine in Ghana. He says that, well, the only Ghanaian name that I know that is so prominent is Azumah Nelson. So I call the mine Azumah Mine. That's all you need to know about why the mine is called Azumah. Incidentally, Azumah Nelson was present at the Engineers and Planners event, the signing of the what they call the 100 million something. Okay, so this is the background. Forget about it. Now let's get into the story. The company at the center of it all is called Azumah Resources Ghana Limited, or Azumah Ghana. It was incorporated in February 2005 with shares held in the Isle of Man by a company called Eagle Hand. Its antecedents, however, are in Australia. The overseas entity was registered on 23rd December 2004. A little under a year later, it listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, blah, blah, blah. In January 2006, the company, Azumah Resources, was officially admitted, blah, blah, blah. All of this is just background, not too necessary. Azumah Resources came into existence through a series of strategic acquisitions and exploration efforts focused on Ghana's Upper West region. Here is the breakdown of it, and this is where we start. Formation and early exploration of Azumah. 1990s. The Black Volta Gold Project area was first explored originally by BHP. 1998. The Kunche ore deposits was discovered by Ashanti IAMG Gold. 2006. Azumah Resources acquired the project, initially holding only the Kunche deposit. It was listed on the Australian Securities Exchange. Azumah later discovered the Bepong ore deposit and acquired the Julie deposit. Between 2006 and 2017, the company conducted extensive exploration and drilling, leading to multiple resource updates. The ownership transition. The story gets better. In 2017, Ibera Capital, a private equity firm, entered via a 5% earn-in agreement. In March 2020, Ibera Capital acquired 100% ownership of Azumah Resources. So this is where it begins to get very interesting. Ibera Capital has acquired 100% of Azumah. After all this mine, that mine, AGC discovered, some people go and find money through Ibera Capital. They buy. We have to find out how much they pay to the Minerals Commission, to the government of Ghana for that. But they acquired 100% of the mine. Okay. So this is now Azumah Resources. This is the gold mine. 100% belongs to Azumah Resources. Who is Azumah Resources? Ibera Capital. Who is Ibera Capital? Some Australian people. Who are the Australian people? They are also listed on the Australian Stock Exchange and the Securities Exchange. You can find them. But they own this mine. Where is the mine? Upper West region of Ghana. All right. Now, Azumah Resources entered into an agreement with Ibrahim Mahama's company, Engineers and Planners, where Engineers and Planners will pay Azumah 100 million to acquire their concession. So this was properly done. Engineers and Planners, Ibrahim Mahama's company, in 2021, 22, 23, get into conversation with Azumah. Charlie, you guys will buy your mine. At the back of it, there's a story in the Engineers and Planners document that Azumah was owing the Ghana Revenue Authority some $5 million of money they couldn't pay because exploration was not working, gold prices were down, so they owed some money, something like that. And that's at the back of the story. It is in the Engineers and Planners document. So here, Engineers and Planners said that we will buy your mine, and both parties agree that it's 100 million United States dollars. Okay. It will seem that over time, there was disagreement over the sum to be paid because of an increase in the gold prices, which Azumah believed should also reflect in the value of the mine higher than the gold price value, should reflect in the value of the mine higher. Gold prices means higher value of the mine. Okay, so this is where the confusion starts. $100 million is agreed in the document, but it would appear that from the document, the 100 million, which is the value of the mine, is pegged at the gold price of the day. So I have gold deposits. today's price of gold is 2 cedis. So I have 500 gold deposits. 500 times 2 is 1,000. So it's 1,000 cedis. So my mine is 1,000 cedis. Then later on, gold prices come up to 6. So 500 times 6 is 3,000, isn't it? So now my mine is no longer 1,000, it's 3,000. Agreement says the value of the mine. So at this stage, engineers and planners have to pay Azuma 100 million, but Azuma is saying that no, this is your 100 million there. No. So they go to courts. Engineers and planners sue in international arbitration that Azuma is reneging on their promise. Azuma too says that you have not even paid me the 100 million according to the timetable we agreed on. So fight has happened. ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, they are on this side. EBID was supposed to send 100 million to give to engineers and planners for acquisition of the concession. So EBID is to pay engineers and planners 100 million. Engineers and planners is to pay Azuma 100 million. Okay, let's move on. Engineers and planners failed to make payments as and when due to Azuma. And when Azuma purported to terminate the agreement, engineers and planners took the matter to the International Court of Arbitration in London and sought an injunction to prevent Azuma from getting new investors for the Black Volta mine. Okay, so Azuma says, even they said it in their recent press statement, where is the 100 million? Azuma says, I can't find the 100 million you promised me. The threshold for the promise has passed. So I'm not going to sell the mine to you anymore. I am terminating the agreement. So Azuma writes to engineers and planners to terminate the agreement. Engineers and planners say, sure, are you sick? Honey, we'll sue you. You said you are going to give me the mine. We have agreed on 100 million. Now you say my money has delayed, so you are suing me. When I've been paying 500,000, they agreed on some $500,000 to be paid. Engineers and planners claim they paid it twice or 3 times. Azuma people say that the money was paid to people that engineers benefited from. That's a whole different matter that we are not talking about now. But this is the real situation. So Azuma purports to terminate the contract. Engineers say that you can't terminate the contract. We'll sue you in arbitration. I'm sure that the suit in arbitration is pursuant to an agreement in the contract that all these agreements will be settled by international arbitration in London. Okay, so that arbitration is pending. Whilst the arbitration is pending, or one more step, whilst the arbitration is pending, engineers and planners take out a writ in Accra, the High Court, to prevent Azuma from engaging with other buyers, very similar to the international arbitration suit. And they are asking for an injunction on Azuma that they cannot talk to anybody until the final determination of the arbitration. The Accra High Court says, yes, Azuma, you can't talk to other people until the final determination of the arbitration. Whilst the arbitration is on and they are waiting for it, they wake up one morning and they find that Ibrahim Mahama and EBID are signing a beautiful agreement at the Marriott Hotel. What is the agreement about? EBID is giving Ibrahim Mahama, as they promised, they gave them a letter of intent, 100 million United States dollars for the purpose of acquiring Azuma. Azuma writes to engineers ahead of the event, saying that you cannot do that. You are already suing us in arbitration. As far as we are concerned, we have terminated the contract. You say that the termination is unlawful and therefore you are suing. How can you be suing and be proceeding with the arrangement and the contract that we have terminated? This is the matter. Anyway, the event goes on and it says, despite the failure of EMP to pay the sum owed by June 30th, 2024, and the pending suit at the International Court of Arbitration, a signing event was organized on the 8th of July between EMP and EBID, the ECOWAS Bank, for a loan facility of 100 million to acquire the Black Volta mine of Azuma Resources. Let's hear what Sam Jonah said. He led the event for engineers and planners. Let's hear what he said, and then I'll come and continue the story about who is EBID Bank and what are the players in and why people are speculating on all of this stage capture. Do you have the video ready? Let's see it.
This is not a favor. There is no political patronage here. This is not crony capitalism. This is not about friends and family. The deal we are witnessing here today was actually initiated as far back as 2023 October, with no fanfare, no interference, and no backroom dealings. It is, in every sense of the word, a commercial transaction built on merit, backed by a strong balance sheet. This is not a favor. There is no political patronage here. This is not crony capitalism. This is not about friends and family. The deal we are witnessing here today was actually initiated as far back as 2023 October, with no fanfare, no interference, and no backroom dealings. It is, in every sense of the word, a commercial transaction built on merit, backed by a strong balance sheet.
So, Sam Jonah KB says that this is not political interference, this is not family and friends business, and etc., etc. All right. Now, the conversation continued. Are they going to give me another file? The conversation continued with the issues about why ABID Bank is coming in. So then eventually Azuma presents a press release, and in the press release they say Azuma Resources wishes to formally distance itself from a document currently circulating in the media purported to be an invitation to a facility agreement, blah. This is the one before the event. And then they have another one after the event where they write that people should completely dissociate themselves from this. And they also allege that whatever happened was against the reputation of engineers and planners. Then engineers and planners also issued their press release and said that the government of Ghana gave a lease to Azuma, blah, blah, blah. From 1992, the company was unable to commence any significant exploration. In 2022, the company, that's Azuma, was indebted to the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Minerals Commission to the tune of $5 million. The Ghana Revenue Authority had obtained a judgment in both the High Court and the Court of Appeal against the company and was going to sell the assets of the company. Gold price was low, and so the owners of the company wanted to sell what was left of the company and for the new owner to deal with the risk. Additionally, engineers and planners say the political instability in the neighboring Burkina Faso pose an elevated risk for any more investors. 7. Engineers and planners say in May 2023, the shareholders approached EMP offering to sell for $100 million. EMP accepted the offer and the risk, despite the value of the project being estimated at less than $80 million. The project acquisition and development agreement was signed, the shareholders agreement, in October 2023. That's what Sam Jonah may have been referring to. Per the agreement, the $100 million was to be paid in 2 equal installments of $50 million on June 24 and $50 million in June 2026. By an email exchange between the parties, the first installment on June 2024 was amended to December 2024. Per the agreement, EMP immediately took control of the project and funded the operations of the mine on an average of $500,000 monthly from November 2023 to date, and last expense was June 30, 2025. Per the agreement, EMP appointed 2 representatives. EMP don't say whether they were able to pay the amended date of 31st December 2024. They don't say that, but they said that there was an email that amended the agreement and the obligation. It actually amended the obligation to pay $50 million on a certain date. That $50 million will now be paid on December 2024. It would appear that they were not able to pay that money. They, however, say they funded the project by $500,000 per month. Per the agreement, engineers and planners appointed 2 representatives to the board of directors of Azuma Ghana in January 2024. Per the agreement, EMP was responsible for raising the finance to develop the project. Indeed, a top executive of the shareholders of Azuma from Australia accompanied officials of EMP to Lomé, Togo, to visit and hold discussions with ABID towards the project. EMP says that they managed to renegotiate the existing liabilities to salvage the entity. They say further that in August 2024, a gentleman named James Walbank, director of Azuma, started making demands to increase the price of the project from $100 million to $300 million. His reason is that after the contract was signed in October 2023, the price of gold increased by more than $100 million. EMP rejected this proposition and insisted on paying the original value. This led to a dispute, and EMP commenced arbitration proceedings in October 2024, asking for an order for specific performance of the contract, particularly when Azuma claimed to have unilaterally terminated the agreement 20. EMP also filed an application in the High Court in 2024 asking for an order for EMP to continue to discharge his obligations under the contract and exercising his rights under the contract until the determination of the arbitration. The High Court upheld the argument of EMP by ruling in June 2025, ordered the status quo to remain for contract to be enforced. In effect, the alleged termination by Azuma was held by the court to be of no effect. Now, Azuma disagree with this chapter 20 of the EMP document. They said all what EMP obtained from the court was an injunction pending the final determination of the arbitration. EMP mentioned the arbitration here. They don't say that arbitration has been completed. So let's go. Meanwhile, EMP made a formal application to ABID in early 2024 for a facility of 100 million to pay for the shareholders. ABID finally approved and signed the facility contract to give EMP the 100 million to pay to Azuma. Addressing the false allegations in the media, EMP only signed an agreement to acquire Azuma after the elections. Okay, EMP say that this is not political because they didn't do the agreement during the elections. They answer all the allegations of the elections. In conclusion, they say that there's a deliberate effort to create conditions that will have made it difficult for EMP to raise the required acquisition capital. There is a vested interest in EMP's failure to raise the funding to open the avenue for some of the directors of Azuma to unduly take advantage of the significantly higher gold price. EMP has already obtained a no objection letter from the Minerals Commission to acquire the mine. EMP will continue with the process in line with the agreement for ABID to make payment to the shareholders. EMP will commence development action, blah, blah, blah. Ghanaians, Ibrahim says, should support their own and not allow mercenaries to divert attention from this historic project, the first time ever for a wholly owned Ghanaian company to acquire a large-scale mine. Okay, so EMP say that they went into an arbitration. The arbitration is not completed, but they found money with ABID. Now, where is the allegations of state capture? The two directors that EMP appointed onto the Azuma mine are the managing director of the Ghana Infrastructure Fund appointed by the president, and the deputy managing director of SNIT, appointed by the president. ABID is an ECOWAS bank, so the leadership moves from ECOWAS countries. Currently, ABID is chaired by Ghana. Ghana's finance minister, Kaysel Atuforsen, is the chairman of ABID. There he is. Kaysel Atuforsen is the chairman of the board of governors of ABID as a rotational policy for the ECOWAS bank. So those who are alleging state capture are saying that, how do you have a bank that the finance minister is chairman of? You have two directors who are working with Azuma. Both of them are government appointees of John Dramani Mahama's government. How is this not state capture? But is this state capture? I don't know. But the truth is that Kaysel Atuforsen is. What is real is that the government of Ghana, okay, I have this. Now I'm moving to the minister's statement. What is real, though, is that the government of Ghana seem to have recognized that there's something not altogether correct or something that has to be resolved. So this evening, just before press time, a document emerged from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. It's signed by Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, MP, Minister for Lands, and it refers as follows. It says, I refer to your earlier correspondence. Is writing to the, who is he writing to? Let's get that again. He's writing to the chairman, Azuma Resources Ghana Limited, Accra. Attention, James World Bank, and the chief executive officer, Engineers and Planners Company Limited, Alajo Road off Olusegun Obasanjo Highway, Abelempe. And it says, DSS, writing to both of them, but it says, I refer to your earlier correspondence in respect of the above subject matter, as well as the various press releases and public statements that have since been issued concerning the dispute. In the light of the circumstances, I have decided to grant the parties a final period of 7 days within which to resolve the matter amicably. Should this period elapse without a mutually agreed resolution, a decision shall be taken in the best interest of the country. I strongly urge all parties to refrain from addressing this matter through the media and instead focus on constructive dialogue and responsible engagement. Consequently, the Minerals Commission is directed to facilitate and support the parties in resolving their differences in order to ensure that timely commencement of the project. Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, MP, Minister. So a lot is left to be seen how this will be handled by the government, given the sensitivity of the personalities involved. Engineers and planners are already calling on the Mineral Commission as being on their side. They are talking about how they can get the Mineral Commission is really on their side. So the questions that have to be answered are, Is there a dispute to be settled between the parties? Well, I don't know. Has the seller, Azuma, agreed to sell? You answer that. Are the parties still in litigation? Yes, they are, because they are in an international arbitration. Can ENP pay back the money it has taken from EBIT? What's payback? I don't know. Payback means what? To recover the loan? I don't know. Were all board members and shareholders of Azuma on board in the acquisition process? There were certainly 2 of them. Was the event, which was with so much fanfare, meant to celebrate the purchase of a mine or an acquisition of a loan facility? These are the questions that that we are asking about what happened. So this is to be closely monitored by civil society, by journalists, by lawyers, and by industry experts in the mining sector, and those who are hoping that the mines of Africa will belong to Africans in the near future. That's a big expectation that we have had for a while. But this is to be critically observed. John Dramani Mahama is in the center of it. Ibrahim Mahama, his brother, is in the center of it. His government is going to negotiate and mediate between the Azuma mine people and them. Minerals Commissioner in the center of it. All of this is happening 6 months after the election victory of John Dramani Mahama. That's very, very interesting. This is our simplification of mine project with our brother Ibrahim Mahama and our father Sam Jonah, both of them heavily involved in working on this acquisition. I guess people have questions to answer.
So ya hakotie eye insem no aba. Ebusuafo metwen wo comment section. Fa comment ni ewu kimi na mejibre akenkan ni nyina e de amofefefe ansa na mesori mo so anase me no bedi enkan me kai wo se Ghanatube suni ensama ekoti eba e wo omanga ni mu eno ena yede so ebusuafo se o hwe me first time ya subscribe na fa won sa enya notification bell no so se na be a insem no ye retuma wenya ne insem pass mema we fi se over like ye videos thing na na so wasan share amen say share it is caring aha and I'm doing easy.